just wanted to show folks the encoded command, just in case something that you had never seen or haven't used before. It's come in handy for me. I'm in an environment where a lot of times I have to work with existing batch files, and I just want to do it in PowerShell, but maybe I don't want to redo the whole batch file and I still want to use some PowerShell commands. I've found that being able to encode a PowerShell command and then run it in batch has been really helpful. And so I just wanted to quickly demo how that works, and so that you can add it to your toolbox if you're not already aware. So, okay, so here's, PowerShell command, right? Just get the hour, right? And very easy to do. And if you were to come over to good old command prompt, it's also very easy to do, right? Just works. Now, something like this, I've got easy to do in PowerShell, not so easy from the command prompt. So if we take that, okay, did I really land on the 0 second? I did, okay. So you take that, you say, okay, I would like to do the same thing. It doesn't go well, right? So what's going on here? Well, the command processor ends up gobbling up your quote, and then so you're passing in what I wanted here was the thing to be in quotes when I handed it off to PowerShell, so that it would evaluate the expressions in the string and do the work. But the command processor got in the way, messed up my quoting, messed up my command. So if I know that and I know how to escape stuff in batch land, I can get around that, right? Works. But that's kind of for the birds, right? You have this command and you don't even know if the command processor is going to mess it up for you. And so that's where the PowerShell team gave this, whoops, needs an R. Gave you this option, encoded command. That's a base 64 encoded string, and you use this to submit commands that have complex quotation. Well, my example, I wouldn't call it complex quotation, but it was enough to watch it break, right? So let's take advantage of this. They give us an example down here. Let's just take their example. All right, so let's use our command instead of whatever they have there. So we're going to take the command we just worked with. Sorry, I'm on this little keyboard, which I'm not. So we're going to get our command. We're going to turn it into bytes, and then we're going to turn it into base 64 string, right? So let's take that, pipe that to our clipboard. Let's throw it in here just so we can see it together. So that's what it did for me. It took this command, turned it into this base 64 string, right? I'm going to grab that in my buffer, go over here. I'm going to use the encoded command argument, and it just worked. See, it didn't get tripped up on any. There's nothing to get tripped up on, right? Because it's encoded, and so great. So now you know how to take something that you've done in PowerShell, encode it up, you can safely run it in the batch file without fear of it getting messed with. But what I did is I wanted to do this more often, so I wrote this little utility called convert to batch. So what that did is this gives me a function, convert to batch. Did I do it? Oh, convert to batch. There we go. So take a command. We'll use our command again. and then I'll let that go to the screen. What it does is it creates a batch file for you and encodes it. And so if I just, pipe that to our clipboard and we do notepad, show date, or whatever, what am I doing? I'm showing, show stuff, .bat, right? Yeah. So what I did is I just took your command that you gave me, I threw it in a remarks section. I set up the PowerShell command for you with the encoded command switch on there. I set an environment variable to the encoded command, and then I run this for you. So let's just see if that works. Save over here, show stuff, just works, right? And so then the one other feature kind of cool, right? So then what I did is I did one other thing. What I like to do is get the output of whatever my PowerShell is doing and set it to a batch environment variable. So I put a little switch on this convert to function to let you specify a batch variable, right? So we'll call it, I don't know, date from PowerShell, right? Type that to clip. All right, now all I'm doing is I just put in that little PowerShell code that sets that. So you can see, I'll say, this is the environment variable value that we came up with, right? I'll do all files, show stuff again. I'm going to overwrite what we just did. I don't know if I did that right, but we'll see. Show stuff. Yep. And so, right, I'm just quickly helping make a batch file for you that does this encoding. And then just the one last little kind of icing on the cake I wanted to show you is that I took somebody's from the web, made test for admin, right? Like, are you running as an elevated, right? And so I downloaded that. So you see I got the PowerShell script test for admin right there. It's some code, right? And what I can do is I can take that whole thing, I'll get the content out of it. I use the raw option just to get a string, pass it to my convert to batch, say some there, and then I pipe it to the clipboard. Now we've got this whole thing encoded. Now that's just a big mess because I try and put the command in there. So I'm just gonna get rid of that because it's ugly. And I'm just gonna say test for admin. That's what we encoded, right? All right. So we have batch test admin. So real quick, going back to the whole idea, it's kind of hard to test for an admin from a batch file, right? Or I'm sure you have a trick up your sleeve, but you don't need it. PowerShell can do it for you. You can encode it. As long as your environment variable isn't bigger than the max size of the environment variable, you can get away with it.
That sounds like.
Yeah. I've found the limit. So we got a batch file, right?
What is that one? Do you know? So I don't have to discover what it is.
I forget.
Very long.
No, it's bigger. It's bigger. So did I just make I made a text file? My bad. Move that to .bat, right? So y'all know I think I'm not running admin. False. If I say, run as administrator, yes. Now, lightning scripts, lightning. What was my batch file? Batch test admin. True. So, right, like now you can bring. That's what I'm saying. You can bring all your PowerShell foo into batch. And so that's it. Just in my recap, I would just say, it's practical. It gives you an opportunity to add some PowerShell to an existing batch file without rewriting it. It's effective because it doesn't get messed up on quotes, and you don't have to worry about the translation. And it's portable. Like, you can take this whole PowerShell thing, shove it into an encoded command, and it stays with the batch file. So, I mean, look, use it or not, but it's a neat trick to have in your tool bag. And if you want, you can go to my GitHub and get that function.